At the beginning of time, there was nothing but a bright light that covered all of the land. This light pervaded through all of space and time. Not a single area was dark. Nothing could be seen, nothing could be conceived, until the prayer of one man was heard. Ushma, the lone human on Teba, was given the gift of eternal life. With this gift, he also did not have any reason to hunt or search for water. So he sat on a rock in silence, wondering why he was surrounded by the never-ending blinding light. He sat there for a total of 2 years until he was finally fed up with sitting there without knowing anything of his surroundings. He looked upwards, seeing nothing but white, and said a thought out loud. This was the first prayer ever spoken. The sentence awoke a being that was away from the light and away from earth. Her name was Sitnu, and she was surrounded by darkness, but she knew she had the ability to bring light to herself. As she sat meditating, she suddenly heard a thought run through her mind, one that was not her own. This became a gateway to another world, and with a swift movement, she rose to her feet and punched a hole through the air. Suddenly, the two worlds began to mold together, and night and day was created. The darkness and the light also helped to tone each other out, so one could actually see when light was around, and could partially see when darkness surrounded the earth.
Teba.
Once the worlds were together, Ushma was astounded by this new world that he lived on. The plants that grew were beautiful, the animals that roamed were graceful, and he could not believe his eyes. His shock was not ephemeral, though, because he then laid his eyes upon Sitnu, the being that brought darkness to his world of light. He bowed to her feet and then he worshipped her. She became his god, and with her he had children who became the elements of nature: fire, water, wind, and earth. From these more children were born, the seasons of Teba: spring, summer, fall, and winter. The seasons attempted to coexist on Teba at the same time, which eventually led to one trying to overpower the others. As the seasons coexisted, they became more power hungry and each tried to overrule the other. As they did this, they started to fight and created mass chaos throughout the world. Due to the chaos, the elements became angry and involuntarily caused destruction on Earth their respective entities. Wind and water formed together at times to make storms. Earth shook the ground to cause destruction. And fire caused flame and volcanoes when it could. It was then when Sitnu realized what she had to do. She told Ushma that she had to go to the heavens above, where the light and darkness would not cycle correctly without a perfectly come around the earth. As she cycled through night and day, each season would get a fourth of the year to rule over the night and day. Ushma cried and screamed as Sitnu left him, claiming he didn't care about the season that he wanted her there, but she rose steadily towards the sky, crying as she does it as well. But Sitnu did not leave without a gift. As she rose, she spoke the words of life into hers and Ushma's tears, and from these, men and women arose. Ushma stood in wonderment, looking at the new people, and when he turned back to say goodbye one last time, she was gone. Ushma stood there, breathless, and then realized that slowly an orb began to rise in the east, as now a different orb sank in the west. He immediately knew that this was Sitnu, who had split so she could watch over him at all times. He knew she was there to guide him, and he led his life as the leader of the new species on planet Teba.